What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the 5th update on the tier list, aka rankings. Today we're gonna talk about everything and anything class related, all the changes that has happened, and pretty much put into perspective how each of the specs compare to each another. We're gonna compare last week to this week. A lot of changes happened, honestly. There's a new candidates, there's a new classes on the bottom, and most importantly, there has been some major class tuning which will impact the rankings by a big mile. If you guys already haven't been here today, welcome and enjoy the video. Again, any notes I'm gonna put down in the comments so you guys can watch them and see the whole, I guess, patches, so you guys can just read it yourself. Let's begin with the actual rankings. So you guys have seen something that was not here last week. Can you guys spot the difference from last week? Okay, there's the two differences. Right now, the top tier is called top tier. There is no more spec gap. Spec gap does not exist anymore. Now it's top tier, and there's one spec currently bugged out, which was unable to be ranked right now. That is a Retribution Paladin. Now, Retribution Paladin by no means is bad. The only changes that they got this week are small single target nerfs and some AoE adjustments on a positive side. The only reason why you are right here is because you do have a rather substantial bug that allows you to have perma wings. Perma wings pretty much means a lot more damage every single pack or even boss fights. So your damage will be inflated this week. This is the only reason why we're not going to rank it, and we're going to continue with them next week. Hopefully by then things will get solved. The only spec that I'm unsure to place anywhere this week, that I needed more time, I guess, testing or in general figuring it out myself, is going to be one of the tanks. In my opinion, that's going to be Protection Warrior. Protection Warrior received a huge damage buff this week. I believe, if I remember on top of my head, 34.5% DPS increase so far, which is one of the most substantial buffs we have ever seen for tanks. Again, I'm unsure where that's going to be, but it's either going to be in a good choice or impressive. In my opinion, one of those two is going to be likely where you're going to end up being. Your damage output right now is absolutely ridiculous. Used to be kind of one of the worst, now it becomes one of the best. Durability wise, once again, you are quite good there. I mean, the self-sustain not really there. You do have to rely a little bit more on your hitter compared to most of the tanks, but generally speaking, you are in a great spot damage wise right now. Now, utility, I do agree, it's a bit on the lower side. You are probably one of the least versatile tank across all the tanks, but that should be hopefully solved for the next couple of expansions, or maybe next couple years, or maybe until I become grandfather, they will just buff warrior utility at some point. But yeah, for now speaking, I would say I will put you on unsure. I need more time testing. I'm gonna probably rate this later on, but if I gotta put it right now on a spot, then it's gonna be either on a good choice or impressive, because all the tanks got buffed. So now I don't think there is a singular tank that is really bad. I mean, at minimum, it should be okay, because every single tank got the buffs. Moving forward, chat, let's talk about healers and tanks. I don't think there is a singular tank placed here. I don't think so. Every single tank so far has received substantial buffs. Okay. So generally speaking, the only healer that still is hanging around okay is gonna be Disc Priest. Discipline Priest went from underperforming to okay, which I guess it's a move up. They just received some buffs this week, which is gonna increase their output. They still will be struggling in Mythic Plus from purely output point of view. They're gonna be fine in rating. What could they do to make Disc Priest better? Honestly, just throughput buffs, just more roll buffs to make them better in dungeons. So far, rate wise, it's still gonna be fine. Utility part on Disc Priest, we already know. They have several utilities to help your team, like double pain suppression. They have a barrier, PI, mind suit, stamina buff, etc. All those tools can help you tackle any situation. Speaking about MD, it's actually quite useful this season. There's several mobs where they actually have a multiple debuffs for your team. MD could be quite useful. MD can also be useful for the new affix, which is pretty much like Afflicted. So yeah. Alright, chat. That is the only healer in these rankings. Now let's begin with the fun part. DPS chat. All right, chat. Who is the least performing spec? What do you guys think? Who is the lowest? The bottom of the mud. The pile of shit. The rubbish spec. I'm gonna give you a hint, chat. It is a range spec that likes to have pets. Okay, it's a range spec that likes to have pets. All right, first in line is gonna be BM Hunter. BM Hunter received quite a major nerfs with the most recent changes. That's gonna primarily impact both their single target and AoE while keeping their toolkit unchanged. What is the issue, you guys might ask, for BM Hunter? The sustained damage on BM Hunter is, in my opinion, a massive issue so far. Ramp up damage is also a massive issue. Burst damage on demand, it depends which build you are playing. Call of the Wild can solve some issues there, but if you don't have that, then it also becomes an issue. I don't understand why they nerf Hunter, perhaps because it was seeming way too high on a single target late into the seasons with better gear, but currently Mythic Plus BM Hunters are underperforming and they're needing more raw buffs to be, you know, up there, I would say. Defensively, they got better, undeniably. They got better utility now, undeniably. But again, more raw buffs to put it higher. And when I talk about defensiveness, I remember double survival with the fittest, aspect of the turtle, extra HP from the pet, extra HP from the pet on demand, and acceleration. That's like six way to, you know, to get some more output from your survivability toolkit. Next in line, chat. For the very first time, I do believe this pick is gonna become anything less than really good, and that's gonna be Fire Mage. Undeniably, Fire Mage has gotten a massacred in the most recent beta. I have no idea why they keep nerfing Fire, but right now Fire sometimes could compete with a tank on overall damage. Not only do you have low single target, but AoE can also be problematic. I do remember the times where this spec used to be the most dominant spec in Mythic Plus. No longer the case. You are down in the mud. I do agree. From purely defensive point of view, Fire Mage is one of the best, if not the best specs in the world. Like, there is no complaint. 5 out of 5 defensively. Utility part on Fire Mage is also absolutely nuts. Fire Mage is still gonna climb fuel rankings up as long as they play with the Oak Evoker. But as they stand alone, in all key levels, you are currently underperforming and should get more buffs. Probably within the next couple of days, I would assume Fire gets to be more buffed. I don't think they will leave Fire the way it is. I don't think so. They will for sure change something about it. That is about Fire Mage so far. And again, speaking about mob control, Fire Mage has amazing mob control. DB, Blasting Wave, or Blast Wave. Also, Interrupt can be used as a short city because of the... what is the ability code that was back in Shadowlands Covenant 90 of shit? Shifting Power. I think Shifting Power can reduce the cooldown of your counter spell by several seconds, which can pretty much make it like a short kick. But yeah, overall, Fire Mage has the biggest potential across all of the specs placed in this tier to climb much higher. That's about it so far. Alright, chat. Are you guys ready for the next spec? To one of the biggest pile of dog shit they could have ever done in this world. The gameplay is beyond horrendous. The damage is depressing. They most recently got a rework. I am maining that spec myself. Quite unfortunately, guys, I must say, Ellie is down once again in the mud. In the fucking mud, dude. How could a spec that high into the rankings have become such a pile of shit. I don't understand. For the first time ever, Blizzard has reworked a spec and it turns out to be the worst version of them. This is mind-boggling. I have never seen that before. For the first time in the world, dude. How could a spec be reworked and it turns out to do less damage? I don't understand. This is actually insane, chat. Now, to be fair with you, the nerfs to Ellie were around 24%-ish, but that is not everything. The playstyle itself has changed, so now the playstyle is even worse than before. It's something that you don't really like to see about Ellie or hear about Ellie, but most genuinely speaking right now, further damage buffs are in a massive need for them to get higher. Perhaps a playstyle change or anything to get the Ellie rolling right now. Extremely disappointed so far. I don't have any more words for Ellie. One of the specs that I deeply love for years and years and years. Unfortunately speaking, chat, down in the drain. Yeah, I think the whole playstyle has changed from like, or at least is shifting away from Elemental Blast to Earthshock. And honestly, the Earthshock playstyle is very, very depressing. Like, yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad. Like, we'll see though. Maybe down the line they will do some adjustments. They will buff Ellie again. You will see, chat. You will see. Mark my words. I want you to mark my words. If not the next week, then the week after, they will get some changes. Next specialization is another ranged. Another ranged, guys. It is Devastation Evoker going next in line for the OK Ramos tier. Devastation Evoker. Why do I think Dev Evoker is going to be an OK tier? Now, let me tell you why. First of all, I would like to make it absolutely clear. Devastation Evoker damage profile is extremely bursty, and I'm very happy to play it myself. It's mobile, has good utility. They got better defenses now if you play Scale Commander. But your output of cooldowns or genuine sustained damage has been pretty disappointing so far. Compared to most of the specs, quite disappointing, I would say on that behalf. Now, what would they do to change that? Perhaps shift a bit of the burst power away to more single target. That could change it. Or in general, just give them more overall buffs there. I do believe you're probably going to end up getting better in raiding than you are going to be in Mythic Plus, in my opinion. Not entirely sure if you will get another changes so far, but if you don't, remember this. Every single time that you queue up as Death Evoker in Mythic Plus, they will ask you if you can play Augmentation. Unfortunately, Augmentation overshadows you by big time, and you will likely see a lot of playtime on Death. But Death is still going to be fine for your casual kind of key levels. And genuinely speaking, it's pretty fun to play. How many times have I seen Death Evokers getting kicked in Mythic Plus because they're not Augmentation? A few times has happened before. So, you're gonna be living in the shadow of Devastation for a long time. Augmentation for a long time. There's only one more spec in OK Ramos tier. It is ranged again. I'll give you a hint right now. They banned me in that Discord for talking shit about the spec. Okay? I am banned in that Discord because I was talking shit about that spec, dude. Well, let me tell you guys. It's the fucking fat chicken. It is the fat chicken, bro. It is the Balance Druid going down to the OK Ramos tier. Okay? Now let me tell you why. So, why do I think Boom is in OK tier? Now let's keep it serious. Let's keep it serious. First thing first. Remember this. We try to take into consideration all key levels. Low level, mid level keys, high keys, etc. I do believe on a high level keys where the mobs live a bit longer, your Starfall can ramp up better, then you're gonna probably end up being a good choice. Ish. Maybe impressive, maybe depending on the setup. Genuinely speaking, your damage off cooldowns is god awful. Rotation feels also blat like pretty much ass, to be honest with you. The pulsar gameplay removal is actually substantial. I don't really like that change, but again, we gotta live with it. What could they change about Boomy to be better? Honestly, probably a Starfall buffs right now could make it better. Could sustain more damage here. Potentially better single target depending on a build. Elun's chosen if you do play the one Eclipse build. Then maybe Starfall can have to do more damage overall. I don't like the way it plays currently, but I still believe in a full group pre-made, you're gonna be okay. And you're gonna end up probably being a little bit higher than you are placed right now. But yeah, overall I would say okay choice is fine for you. One of the specs that I believe has the chance to climb much higher because the utility is really good. Their defensive part got better, but still kind of lacking. And most importantly, you have the toolkit to climb, you know, like everything else to climb. Just like Fire Mage, you know, like those two specs have the biggest potential to climb. I mean, as well as Ellie as well, right? If they get to be adjusted. So yeah, that's about okay Ramos tier. Full on casters, unfortunately. Well, again, BM Hunter is kind of like a range, not really a caster, but it is something that I wish that, I don't know, the gameplay gets to be changed. Now, to finalize, what do I think about okay tier? Any single tier where your spec is gonna be able to do your weekly keys. If you are only a weekly key gamer, you don't care about nothing here but fun. You can play any spec, any class, on any casual key level and do fine. Okay? Now, the higher the ranking goes, the better chances you're gonna have not only to be invited, but genuinely speaking to perform better. Remember, some of the classes perform better on high keys compared to low keys. Some of the classes have way less output on high keys than on low keys. Depends on your profile damage, depends on your setup, etc, etc, etc. You know, that has to be considered. Let's begin with the tanks. Protection Paladin. Now, previously, Protection Paladin has been at a bottom for the past several weeks, quite underperforming. However, Protection Paladin has received, I believe, third buff in a row, or second buff in a row, and that is an aura buff damage increase. Is that going to fix your survivability issues? Most definitely not. That's going to make you do more damage? Of course, yes. Your utility toolkit has been insane throughout all the beta cycles and alpha cycles. It will remain to be one of the strongest across all tank specs right now, because not only have the ability to save your team, like Sax and Dev Aura for example, on off heals, but you also have very good mob control. Avenger Shields can enter a lot of casters, your own Kick Rebuke for example, have a Hand of Justice, Binding Light, all of this can give you much better mob control than most of the tanks. There are several dungeons here that are very heavy caster orientated, and you will end up dying over and over again if you're not stopping the important casts. Hence why I believe Protection Paladin here would be a good choice. One issue that I'm finding here is tankiness. A little bit too squishy for me. I would love to see them get adjusted there, perhaps in the following beta patches. Until then, I don't think you're gonna belong in a top tier. But good choice for you is a W. P Evoker together with a Holy Priest belong in a good choice. I'm gonna start with the P Evoker. This week, P Evoker did not get any changes, so pretty much the performance you got last week, that's pretty much what you've been getting this week too. Several issues I have with Evoker. Obviously, output from both HPS and DPS is not an issue so far. But again, I do believe you're gonna be outshadowed by Augmentation Evoker. Your healing capabilities can suffer immensely if you do play in a full range squad, for example. You have a hard time healing them. Some of the people are gonna be, for example, placed left and right, not being stacked in melee. Hence why you're gonna be actually struggling in that regard. But overall, if you do play, for example, in a people that are adequate and understand how Evoker plays out, then it's gonna be probably in an impressive tier. But if I'm trying to think about like a full puck scenario where people are everywhere in a range and melees and nobody cares about how you play about Evoker, then you know, like this could be a massive issue. Also, your range could be an issue, of course it is, but again, it's a matter of like how you play around it, you know. Like a lot of players, for example, are aware that they gotta stay close to each other for the P Evoker to make it work. But if you have, for example, you know, 1-2 casters standing on the back, your tank is in the front, your melee is in the front, like, you can't really heal all fronts. Like, you can choose where to heal. They gotta be in front of you. Positioning here would be a massive issue. Massive issue. That is my issue here with P Evoker, and also the importance here to be taken is augmentation is still very strong, hence why I don't think you're gonna have a lot of setups where they're gonna pick up augmentation and preservation all together in the same group. I don't think so. You know, yeah, it's not really about I mean, it could be an issue sometimes, bro, but how you heal, how you handle healing, pretty much in Mythic Plus could be an issue. Because a lot of casual players, so in general players that are not really well deep into the game or understand the game better, know how, for example, P Evoker healing works, you know? Like, you gotta be more stacked than anything for you to have way better HPS. Because if your targets are spread all around, like, you know, around the world or scattered, it's just gonna be problematic. Especially when there's like a lot more HPS heavy encounters here in Mythic Plus, yeah. Anyway, moving forward. Holy Priest received several important buffs. Pretty much true output got increased here. Nothing really, you know, major outside of just more output. Honestly, that's about it. They're still gonna feel great when it comes down to healing encounters. I do believe you're one of the safer hitters. Barrier of entry is pretty low on Holy Priest. It is quite easy to play in my opinion. Mob control here is a big issue for Holy Priest. Now, several issues actually. The first issue is going to be mob control. You are one of the weakest mob control hitters altogether with the Disc Priest. The only thing that you have to stop mobs right now is just fear. Justice could also be the case here, but it's a single target. You don't have an AoE stop here. What could they do to make Holy Priest be better? Honestly, except for outer buffs to do more damage, more healing, I just don't see a way for them to get reworked that late into the expansion to get more utility. But yeah, I would love to have a kick on both Holy and Disc Priest, honestly. That's gonna add them, that's gonna make them way better when it comes down to actually Mythic Plus. Because remember, this season is very heavy caster oriented season. A lot of dungeons have important casts that must be interrupted or stopped, and if you can't do that, then you're not helpful to the whole team compared to most of the hitters. They can, like, give example P Evoker, right? P Evoker can just do kick, can do knock up, can do pushback. That's 3 stops for you. As a Disc Priest, you only have like fear. You know, that's pretty much it. That's about hitters and tanks, chat. Okay, chat. It is time for a DPS choices. You guys ready? DPS choices. Hunter goes next, and I'm gonna explain why do I think Hunter is in a good choice. There's several reasons. First, and the obvious reason, your burst damage is absolutely fucking nuts. I love it. Single target AoE burst wise, you are good there. That is the primary reason why do I believe you're gonna be good in every key level. Low, mid, high keys, you're gonna be fine. Sustained damage is okay, nothing too crazy. Single target is a massive issue so far for them. It's quite dog shit. They must be buffed there. Some way to be buffed. I don't know how they're gonna make it, but they gotta get single target adjustments. Survivability got a lot better than before. Obviously, we already know that as every single hunter spec in the game. Utility got better as well from Dragonflight until now. Now I have an AoE stop. Now I can actually do single target stun while having no pet, which is amazing. Binding shot together with scatter shot combination. Yeah, like genuinely speaking, you got better everywhere. But I would like to see some adjustments on a better single target. Hence why I do believe right now you're only in a good choice. If they were to get buffed, then probably gonna go higher. It is the one and only, the uncrowned king of Dragonflight, Shadow Priest, chat. Shadow Priest has received some positive buffs. On the good side, right now you are playing Archon. Archon? I don't even know how to pronounce it. But you don't play Voidweaver anymore. So you're playing Archon, the big Halo shit, you know? So, honestly, the output itself got increased on both single targets and AoE. However, I still think that your damage output is mediocre. Maybe slightly better than mediocre. If you are placed in a full god comp with like Evoker and Mage, then you're gonna probably rank up higher than a good choice. But for now speaking, if I trying to like rank you as a standalone, then it's gonna be a good choice for now speaking. More rogue damage, especially damage off cooldowns, will be the only solution for you to rank higher. The utility part has already been, I already said it many times, is great. From PI to stamina to like MD, mindset, etc. Defensiveness, nothing really has changed majorly for you there. I mean, some small changes, but that's fine on the positive side. So yeah, that's the only thing that you need for you to rank higher. Slightly more damage. The 6% nerf was a hotfix, and they over buffed them by mistake. That's why they got 6%, but it's overall a net buff. Yora said because of Halo, ninja pulls happens, that's why they don't want to play SP. That is not true, by the way. Lucy, tell them that they already got fixed. I can play Shadow Priest after this list, you're gonna see. Has already been fixed. Long time. Since yesterday night got fixed. You don't pull anymore. Your tentacles also don't pull anymore. The Halo doesn't pull. Any out of combat mobs are not going to get pulled by Halo or tentacles. Maybe on the pre-patch is still bugged, but I don't know about pre-patch. I'm talking about beta right now. Suit still doesn't work for the like a mind suit still doesn't work for priests. I don't know why. Disc, Holy, and Shadow Priest cannot use mind suit in beta. Unknown reason, already been reported, has not been fixed. There's 2.5 weeks before expansion. I don't know why. Don't ask me. A Windwalker Monk. Windwalker Monk got the better end of the stick. Slight buffs for them. They climb higher on the rankings. Getting there, getting better. The crazy burst damage that you guys know from Windwalker, it's still there. They do have that power, as always, since forever. Sustained damage could be an issue from time to time, depending on the size of the pools. Utility part unchanged, very strong there. The only difference between Dragonflight and the War Within, negative difference right now, is gonna be the loss of auras. You don't have the extra healing aura and avoidance aura, but paralysis now can suit. Unsure if that has been fixed on beta. It used to be bugged for a long time. I gotta test it again to see exactly. But genuinely speaking, you have also several ways of defensiveness in Mythic Plus, which I think could be a massive bonus when it comes down to, encounters where you need to have several ways to live. Boys and girls, I think that's everything so far that has to go in a good choice. I don't think there is another spec to be in a good choice. Everything else belongs in impressive, top tier, and best candidates. One of the most impressive tanks so far on beta or since alpha has been Brewmaster Monk. Allegedly. Here we go, where it is. Honestly, Brewmaster Monk has improved significantly since the Dragonflight. I really like the new brew. Not only does great damage, but it's also the bottom bloat has been pretty much reduced to like minimum. Playstyle is much more fun. You're more durable. You're more durable against magical damage, which is important note. And most recently, 3 days ago, you received some damage buffs, just like any tank. Brewmaster will be a fantastic choice for the upcoming season. However, obviously, there are better choices up there. I do still believe that durability part of Brewmaster is not the best. They still need a lot of healer attention. That's going to be a problem in some cases. The self-sustain there is not up there compared to most of the tanks. However, I still think that Brew is a good choice depending on the key levels you do. You're not going to have that much of an issue for like low to mid level keys, but the higher the key goes, the bigger an issue becomes the self-sustain, and most definitely a lot more healing attention needed. Overall, Brew is a good choice. Don't cope on that one. Next in line, in an impressive tier, goes to the Mistweaver. Honestly, Mistweaver has been like one of the most versatile healer specs this alpha and beta cycling, like since the May. I had a quite big fun playing Mistweaver. The output is quite there. Honestly, doesn't matter what groups you're playing on, what key levels you're playing on, the output is there. Depending on the, for example, encounters, you might, for example, not struggle compared to Disc Priest, etc. The damage part is great. You do great damage. The melee part, being a melee hitter, is kind of annoying, but that's, you know, a small price to pay, you know, based on the whole toolkit you're having there. Monk also has an impressive arsenal of utility to stop, for example, the upcoming casts like Stun, Ring of Peace, Interrupt, etc. You do have also Mass Dispel. Well, kind of like a Mass Dispel, but it's like a much longer cooldown than MD itself, which is called Revival. That one can also dispel poisons and disease, as well as magical effects. The auras got removed, just like, for example, Monk, like Brewmaster and Windwalker, no longer giving you extra avoidance and extra healing. But overall, I think that's one of the safest choices, disregarding the tiers or, like, I guess the group comps you're gonna go for. Quite good. I don't like that Cocoon got nerfed, so now Cocoon is gonna be much of a lesser value for tanks compared to like healers and DPS, where it's still gonna be relevant. I would love to see Monk getting a real external cooldown, like for example, Druid's Bark, Holy Paladin Sag, Priest Pain Suppression, something that gives you a damage reduction. I would love to see that. But overall, I think an impressive choice, which is gonna be pretty much A tier for you, is a solid candidate. You know, like, I can't really say anything bad about them. It's just like other heroes right now perform better, slightly better, I would say. Chat, next in line, it is going to be Outlaw Rogue. Outlaw Rogue are next in line for the impressive tier. They have climbed much higher compared to last week. Last week, they were around OK Ramos, or at the end of good choice. This week, they are already climbing on an impressive tier. However, keep in mind, the higher the key goes, the better Outlaw will be, because your sustained damage profile, quite honestly, is impressive. Yes, you might still be target cap. Yes, you might not have the burst capabilities compared to most other classes, but your sustained damage profile is great. Hence why I do believe once you go much higher, your tier here would probably be placed around here, like around here. But if I have to consider like low level keys and mid level keys as well, I would say an impressive performance from you, aka A tier, is a solid choice so far. Now, some people, I saw you guys were sending me some screenshots of you know, let's say some content creators saying that Rogue has no defensiveness, and honestly, I don't think that is anything further from the wrong side, you know. Like, if you're saying that Rogue has a bad defensiveness, then I don't even know what kind of shisha you're smoking, bro. Like, on God. Like, I don't want to say the person who said it, but let's just say that person is not an active streamer. He's a theory crafter. I'm not gonna call any names here, but I've seen some weird ass shit. Okay, now let me tell you what Rogue has. Cloak of Shadows is a magical immunity. Evasion can also be a immunity against physical damage, or I guess not really an immunity, but it's a defensive cooldown. You can choose between Cheat Death or Better Feint. Feint itself, if you play Elusiveness, can be a short DR every couple of seconds, which is most of the time you don't really have that one, you know, as any other spec. So for people to say that Rogue itself has a poor defensiveness, then maybe you're bad at the game, you know. Chat, most of you have already guessed it. It is gonna be a Havoc DH. Havoc DH is moving up to the impressive tier. with yet another damage buff earlier this week. Havoc DH itself, purely performance-wise, has been improving steadily week by week. Better single target now, better AoE, much better burst damage profile, nice priority target damage while doing AoE as well. Defensive part has not changed a single bit. Again, Leech, Blur, Netherwoke, you have some tools to help you survive. Not impressive there, but it's most definitely not bad. Utility part has been not changed for the past couple of seasons. Mass AoE stun is, I guess, the biggest take here. You're able to stop mobs. Chaos Brand is the biggest carry, quote unquote, for your utility, because again, if meta remains to be caster orientated, then I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if on a lower level keys Havoc could be considered. Now, your positioning here would depend on how good Vengeance could be. Like, if Vengeance is really good, then you're not gonna see as much popularity from Havoc DH right now. But if I gotta rank you as a complete standalone itself, without having to consider everything else that I said right now, an impressive performance from you is a good while, you know. People are happy about it. I believe the rotation itself, I don't even know how to solve the issue. It has become problematic in the past, and it's still problematic in the past. I don't know how they could save it before the expansion comes out, or what they could do to make it better, but currently it's one of the most unenjoyable ones. Enhanced Shaman. Sorry guys, a bit of a UK math here. Enhanced Shaman is still on the impressive tier. They went from best candidates to the end of the candidates to an impressive first choice, and now getting to the end of the line of impressive tier. Honestly, it has been quite dreadful to see Enhanced being nerfed again and again, and this week is no difference. Enhanced this week received yet another nerf. Okay? Is that going to push them away from the impressive tier? Most definitely not. Their single target in AoE will be impacted. They will do less damage output, but they will remain in an impressive choice, a good solid choice so far, because of several reasons. Damage output is still good, don't worry about that one. Utility part has been improving since alpha, or the reintroduction of shamans in general for the War Within. In my opinion, one of the best utility in the game so far. From the Wind Fury buff, or I guess Sky Fury buff, to the whole party plus 2% mastery. A lot of stops. Shortest kick in the game, Sundering, AoE stun, AoE knock for example, Poison Dispel, Curse Dispel, what else? Bloodlust, Purge. You can also, what else? What else I'm missing? AG of healing can be counted as well as a utility. So yeah, genuinely speaking, the utility part is insane for Enhanced. Enhanced got better defensiveness compared to Dragonflight, but not as better, not as good as people wanted to have them, but better. So yeah, overall we'll see. I think if they were to leave Enhanced the way it is right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they get to be picked up much more often than Ellie, even in raid. If Enhanced and Ellie remain the same, then Ellie will officially be dead. And Enhanced will be picked up for raiding, if not Rest to Shaman, and Enhanced will be better in Mythic Plus than Ellie. So yeah. Survival Hunters. Survival Hunters, once again, received a nerf. They went from the best candidates, to the bottom of the best, to the top of impressive, and now to the middle of impressive. Every single week, they've been nerfing survival, dropping down the list, steadily down the list. I still believe the AoE output of survival is great. Single target has been buffed, which is, you know, great for them. The AoE output is absolutely massive still. Sustained damage is really good. Burst damage really good. Defensiveness got better. Just like any hunter spec so far. Better defensiveness overall. Double survival the fittest, for example. Exhilaration, Pet Leech. Or Pet, for example, extra defensiveness there. Turtle. A lot of ways to cope in Mythic Plus. Several also utility options were introduced in a new expansion. For example, the Knock-up trap now a lot more often. Now you can play Scatter Shot and Binding Shot together. So yeah, overall, I would say Survival is still looking to be the best hunter spec so far. And I would not be lying to say this. I would pretty much try to play this as an ult myself because it's pretty fun. Yeah, true, actually, that's a good point. The Mastery of Survival also got changed. So Mastery of Survival now does count towards your own survivability. That's about survival. It is going to be an Unholy going up to the impressive tier. Unholy has been performing unholy good. Honestly, damage output is still quite bursty and impressive there. Single target remains strong with nice priority target damage while doing AoE as well, which is a passive bonus. Utility part slightly improved since Dragonflight. Again, now you can AMS, 2 extra party members. Mob control has always been good. Grips, ST stun for example, pet stun, binding sleet, interrupt, etc. Utility part remains pretty much, as I already mentioned, mostly unchanged. Defensive part, they're very strong there. One of the tankiest melee specs so far on behalf of this. Because he got nerfed several times in a row, I still believe yet you're gonna be impressive, but not as good as it used to be. So yeah, overall, I can't complain about Unholy. One thing I can say about this is if Frost remains much better than Unholy, I wouldn't be surprised if nobody picks them up and only play Frost DK. Because usually, this happens when you have a very strong sibling spec. For example, this could be the case between Outlaw Rogue and Assassination Rogue. Most of the people will play Asa instead of Outlaw. Or for example, Ellie against Enhance. If Enhance is really strong, then people are gonna play Enhance over Ellie. You know, or for example, BM Hunter against Survival. I believe that might happen with DKs. People might prefer to play Frost DK more, hence why you're gonna see less Unholy DKs. Affliction Lock. Affliction Lock up in an impressive tier. Quite honestly, I'm very happy about Affliction Lock. They have gotten much better compared to the Dragonflight. Simply because of the design. Honestly, right now they've removed the stupid seed spam. Malefic Rupture is now your go-to spender. Prior damage while doing AoE has also been immensely, well done so far. They've got recently a slight single target buff. Wither damage has been adjusted. I believe it's still very small net buff at around 1%-ish. More output there. Napkin mat, don't quote me on this, could be actually lower or higher. Overall, the only issue I'm having here is damage off cooldowns. Actually, 2 issues. The first issue is damage off cooldowns off 1 minute. No Soul Rot, for example. You're a little bit on the lower end. Also, Vile Taint doesn't really sync well with your Agony. So your Agony stacks to dropping while Veil Tine stays on like cooldown. So for example, a solution could be proposed by reducing the cooldown of Veil Taint by 10 seconds, so you can match up the Agony refreshers, just like a Shadow Crash for example on Shadow Priest. Or what you can do is make Agony a longer cast, so the Agony could be naturally refreshed by Veil Taint. Either of it would be great. Something similar to what Shadow Priest has with their Shadow Crash so far would be the best case for you. Feral Druid going up there, chat. Feral Druid now in an impressive tier. Honestly, I'm very happy about Feral Druids. They have gotten the love that they deserved. However, several issues still with Feral. Yes, single target is great. Yes, AoE has gotten better. The rotation itself has slowed down from Dragonflight until the War Within. Much slower paced, methodical. Sometimes you could run away. You can run out of, for example, from energy. You can start off on energy. But I believe the higher the stats you're going to get, that problem could probably resolve on itself. Defensive profile, Feral Druid, several defensives. Barskin got better. Survival instincts you have now. Obviously, I've always had it. Bear on demand as well if needed. Utility remains unchanged. They also have strong utility toolkit. Bark of the Wild carries a lot as well there if you don't already have it. I do believe they're not done changing Feral. They want to figure out how you want to play AoE right now. DOTC is most definitely an important matter yet to be unsolved. Or I guess yet to be solved. Now, whether you're going to be biting on an uncapped AoE or gonna be biting on, like, let's say sub than 6-7 targets and only above 8 targets or 7 targets you wanna cast the AoE spender. Unsure for now. We need to wait until they actually do more changes on regards to Pharaoh to have a final opinion. Overall, I do believe you are great currently. One of the better choices out there for a melee. Sub Rogue going up in an impressive tier. Honestly, Sub Rogue has been getting a tons of buffs for the past couple of weeks. This week, however, they received a very small nerf on Secret Technique. A very, very small nerf on Secret Technique. Overall speaking, I do believe you are one of the better melees out there. Good single target, good AoE damage, utility unchanged so far. Defensiveness are very strong there. Overall, I'm very happy to see Sub Rogue shining again. Hero talents could still be an issue, rotation could still be bland, boarding, etc. But speaking purely about numbers / performance, you have gotten better and better every single week so far. Hey, that's not true. Every single week for the past 3 weeks, not all the time, okay? Is that going to continue to be the case moving forward? I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking to see how that's gonna play out. But I'm gonna say this. At least one of the rogue specs has to be up in a best candidates. Unfortunately, this time around, it is not you. Unfortunately, this time around is on behalf of as rogue. But that's gonna be something else for later. Arms Warrior going to be next in line, all together with Fury together. Honestly, both of them has been performing quite well currently in beta. Damage profile from both of them have been looking quite great. The Slayer part of Arms and Fury has been astonishing. I can't complain about that one. This could go either way. Could go either Fury or Arms. It depends on a key, on a setup, on a group comp, on a key level, on the way you pull it exactly. In some cases, Fury could be better. In some cases, Arms could be better. Arms is easier than Fury. Fury is easier than Arms. But keep in mind that both are currently in an impressive tier, which is a huge W for all the warrior community. Warriors are still lacking utility. Always have been, always will be, unless they, get further changes there. Survivability, I'm gonna give it to the Fury Warrior better than Arms Warrior. Fury has the actual self-sustain from your whole rotation itself. Arms does not, which sometimes could be problematic. But overall, I would say, depending on the key levels you do, these are going to be fantastic choices. Specifically talking about just damage output. Like, not talking about anything else. Just purely, you go there, you smash damage, etc. Then I believe you are up there so far. However, the current meta favors casters. It favors casters. Unfortunately, you're not a caster. So unless you introduce yourself in a full melee squad, which can be actually pretty good, you don't belong in a caster meta. But nonetheless, you are a great choice across multiple levels. Whether you want to play high keys, mid keys, low keys, pre-made, full puck, a good choice nonetheless. Damage is what carries you pretty much. Alright, moving forward. First in line is going to be Resto Shaman. Resto Shaman, best candidate so far. After the rework, they've become much better. Honestly, output, both offensive and defensive output, has become better. Utility part has improved a lot. Defensive part has improved as well. Right now, looking to be one of the better candidates for Mythic Plus. Again, remember, every Shaman has right now a group buff, which is a Sky Fury, which is pretty much Wind Fury together with 2% Mastery, which is insanely big for any kind of group right now. So, talking purely about that one, I do believe they're going to be great. Regardless of the key level you're playing, or whether you're playing with a full caster comp, melee comp, 10 keys, 5 keys, 15 keys, you are gonna be fine everywhere. Hence why I believe Resto Shaman currently is one of the better hitters. One of the picks people will probably disagree with me, but I believe Restoration Druid is still gonna be amazing choice for the upcoming season 1 of the War Within. Why do I think that? Yes, your damage profile has been nerfed most recently, past couple of days. However, they've been buffing your healing profile for a long time now, so the output of healing is not as It's not the best, but it's getting there. It's getting better and better. Spot healing too. DPS output, no complaints there. If I has been good, never have a complaint. Mark of the Wild is gonna be a important topic of conversation. Now, whether or not Resto Druid is going to be the meta, then the Guardian pick here would be devalued. If Restoration Druid remains on the top, then Guardian Bear will likely never make it. Guardian will likely be pushed aside and you're gonna play Vengeance. You're gonna play like this. You know? If, for example, Restoration Shaman is to be top tier, then there is an argument here to pick up a Bear or Blood DK. This could be a good comp. It would all depend on the final tuning, whether or not Restoration Druid remains to be on the top. If not, then we can talk again. It would really depend on a lot of things. Speaking about utility so far, no people are gonna ask me right now. Utility part on Restoration Druid, Mark of the Wild, Typhoon, Soothe, Vortex, AoE Roar, Interrupt as a cat form, Mass Root, Single Target Root, Soothe, Combat Resurrection. What else do we have? Prowl Stun, Shadow Melt Stun as well. Yeah, a bunch of shit you can pretty much peel for your tank, do damage, and provide offensive, like defensive part for your team. You know, yeah. Overall, I think it's a good choice. And last, I do believe right now the better performing hitter so far on the Warrior team is gonna be a Holy Paladin. Honestly, Holy Paladin right now is immensely strong. They just recently got some buffs as well. I believe Wednesday got some buffs, so generally speaking, currently output wise, one of the best, if not the best hitter so far. Damage output is also very impressive. Mob control, one of the best. Maybe on par with Restoration Shaman so far. Kick, Hodge, Binding Light, all of this actually means that you have a nice mob control. You're the only healer with immunity. You have a CR. Again, Sack is still pretty useful. AM here could be useful. 3% Devotion Aura for the whole team throughout, you know, the whole key. Once again, Lay on Hands, for example, Bob, etc. All of these tools can like keep on adding and adding on. They remain unchanged. They have strong toolkit. We already know that the output got better. You have better healing off cooldowns throughout gaps in between packs and packs. So yeah, overall speaking so far, Paladin and Druid, in my opinion, are like slightly ahead of Restoration Shaman. So if, for example, if Guardian remains meta, then I'm willing to bet Holy Paladin is gonna be insane with them. Like Holy Paladin, Guardian together. There you go. If Vengeance is meta and not Guardian, then I could see this going both ways. This could go either Paladin or Druid. This can literally go both ways, depending on the final tuning. This is gonna be Mark of the Wild against 3% Dev Aura and Utility as well. It's gonna be split decision. I do believe that mob control of a Holy Paladin is better. Also, Holy Paladin has an immunity. Immunity in High Mythic Plus means a lot, right? So, genuinely speaking, here would be just down to like final tuning. Every single week things are changing, guys, so pay attention. Right now, that's how it looks like. But yeah, we'll see, chat. We'll see. Things will be good later on. In my opinion, next in line is gonna be Arcane Mage. Arcane Mage, honestly, after the Buck Revert, now they can breathe. The relief is big for Arcane. Playstyle is gonna be actually so engaging. One of the most fun Arcane playstyles I had in a long time. I really enjoyed testing it out so far. Damage output seems to be amazing. Both single target and AoE during burst has been top tier. I can't complain. Durability wise, you're one of the most tanky specs in the world. Utility wise, one of the best in the world there. Again, and if I have to include augmentation, then you're gonna end up being top tier. Undeniably, Mage will likely be top tier if you have to consider augmentation in the equation. If you don't have augmentation, then I think you're gonna be like around best candidate so far. What is the likelihood of you having augmentation on the high mythic plus and even mid level keys? Very likely. Currently augmentation is busted still. I'll talk about it later. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that later, but I still believe mage is top tier on its own, and if you include augmentation, then it becomes top tier 100%. Like 100% guarantee you that. Next in line is gonna be its brother's pick. That's gonna be Frost Mage. Frost Mage received small changes this week. Honestly, Death Show got nerfed. Now it's unusable. Now you getting back to Spike and Icelands even easier than before. The whole weird pre-casting Frostbolts 4 times in a row to get the best value out of DC has been completely nuked. Now you're just getting back to the easy boarding rotation. Frost Mage extremely easy to play, very powerful, nice PO for the tank, good prior damage when you do that. Better ST now by 3% compared to the old DC build. AoE during cooldowns insane. Off cooldowns could be a little bit lacking here. And once again, one of the best in the game utilities. Very tanky spec, one of the tankiest in the world. Amazing mob control as well. You're gonna end up being top tier as well. If augmentation remains meta and played on a high keys, you're probably gonna remain meta as well. What is the solution here, you guys might ask me. Let me tell you right now. If they reintroduce the scrolls, of Mythic Plus, then the value of Arcane Intellect could be going down significantly. The chance of that is below 0. I believe they stated in the past that scrolls will never be reintroduced. Unless they change their decision, I don't see that happening ever. And if it does happen, I'll be very happy because, again, until Arcane Intellect exists altogether, combined with Oak Evoker, is gonna be the strongest comp you can build. You're pretty much right now building against, like, you're trying to build Mage together with Evoker is the staple. That's like the absolute must, guaranteed together a good combo. Now the question is, who is the tank? Who is the healer? And who is the last DPS? And that last DPS could be a lot of choices. Could be an Aracaster, which is very likely. Could be let's say Frost Decay. Could be also Destrolog or Demolog. You know, those are your choices right now. But the likelihood of that, I would probably pick up Lock, either Destro or Demo, just because of Arcane Intellect, Oak Evoker together, and Vengeance DH, right? So pretty much same old comp. Next line is gonna be Frost Decay. Frost Decay, honestly, I can't say anything bad about it. Frost Decay has been performing absolutely fucking crazy, dude. From good single target to nice prio to insane AoE to good consistent burst, very tanky as well, good mob control. Utility part is not insane, but everything else is top tier. If you're a DK player, this should bring tears to your eyes because Frost Decay has never historically been on top of the bracket ever. This is the first time where Frost Decay is actually looking to be, you know, the top of the chain, like top 5 right now. The very first time since forever. I don't remember anywhere else where Frost was actually better than Unholy for Mythic Plus. You know, maybe in some cases, but not as dominant as right now. Now, do I think Frost Decay will be getting nerfed? I would lie if I tell you no, because I do believe that they will probably get some changes. Probably. At least for their AoE. But again, I don't want to doom about it. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe yes. If I gotta guess, if I am to be a betting man and gamble, I do believe Frost will probably get some tuning. Probably. Demonology Lock. Demonology Lock, next in line, chat. Honestly, Demo Lock has been going crazy for the past couple of weeks. Changes hasn't really came for them, but this week right now, Demo Lock got crazy buffs. Diabolist, Whether you're playing Destro, Demo, Diabolus, Diabolus is fucking holy trinity, juice to the moon. Great sustain damage, good single target, good AoE, very tanky, nice utility package as well. There's nothing else you would like to have as a range spec right now. One of the most well-rounded specs. I'm pretty happy to have that and say that. I will probably consider playing Demo myself as an oath, but you know, again, is it gonna get nerfed? Nobody knows. Nobody's Nostradamus. That's completely fine. About Demonology. All right, chat. There is a few options here. I'm gonna first do Augmentation Evoker. Augmentation Evoker yet got another nerf, but I sincerely believe Augmentation Evoker has been performing and will still continue to perform amazing. Top tier by no disregard of anything else. The only way for them to not be top tier is to not buff tanks and healers, because you're the only spec in the world that makes healer heal more, makes tank players survive better, makes the whole group do more damage, and makes your DPS take less damage. You pretty much, if you do play high keys, you are guaranteed to have one augmentation player. And if augmentation remains meta, I believe Frost Mage, Arcane Mage will be part of this. This is what I will call the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity is gonna be right here, and you get to choose who do you want. Is it gonna be Vengeance and a Druid or a Paladin? Who is it gonna be? You choose. It doesn't matter. This is the staple. You choose either of the mages and augmentation. And from here onwards, you have the calls. You shot call. Who do you want in a group? I wouldn't say Devil Mage. It's gonna go either way. It's gonna be either the Frost or the Arcane. So, look, I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna try to explain this for the people that don't play WoW, because some people here are new to WoW. I'm gonna explain this. The current meta with augmentation is very simple. It's called hyper carry meta. That's how I translated myself. Hyper carry meta. What does it mean? You have a tank. So you have a tank, a healer. You have a support spec that buffs your team. You have a second DPS that is not as dominant as the primary DPS that still buffs you for you to do more damage. And you are the hyper carry. The hyper carry of last tier was Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest was the hyper carry, right? This season, this beta build right now, the hyper carry is looking to be either Destro or Demo. Those are your like, imagine this. Imagine a League of Legends with augmentation being Lulu mid full AP, support being support, and you being Kog'Maw that everybody buffs you. You know, that you're a Kog'Maw. Like Destrolog is Kog'Maw, and this guy is also Kog'Maw, dude. Like you're running with a 6 items mid as a Kog'Maw, and you're nuking everything. That's it. That's pretty much the hyper carry meta simplified. Now I don't think Asa is hyper carry though. I don't think so. Hyper carry is gonna be either fucking Destro or Demo. I don't know. It's not Kog'Maw. It's Kog'Maw. It's the champion. What do you guys want about? Look, this champion, bro. You guys are fucking idiots. All of you. It's Kog'Maw, bro. This guy. The fucking suction. Look. This is the Kog'Maw. See that? It says Kog'Maw. Okay? Not Kog'Maw. You idiots, bro. Look at that. That's it, okay? That's pretty much it. Anyway. You guys get a point? You guys get a point? Okay? You guys get a point? I say it wrong, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? I'm gonna move forward. Boys, next in line is gonna be Outlaw Rogue. Outlaw Rogue belongs to the best candidates. It belongs to the best candidates. It has been performing way better than most of the Rogue specs. after the buffs. You are the most dominant rogue specs. You now do insane AoE damage, great output throughout off cooldowns, great single target, great prior damage, great defensiveness, good mob control. Iron Wire Garrote silences will literally carry some dungeons. Give an example, Stone Vault, very heavy caster dungeon. Stone Vault Garrotes are crazy good there, a huge value. So I believe Azaro currently looks to be one of the most prominent melee specs as of now speaking. Remember this, it's still beta, there's still a few weeks into the expansion, there's still few weeks into the season, okay? Things are getting close to the finals. They're getting closer and closer every single week. Things are not final. Every single spec has bugs. Yes, some of the bugs inflate their damage, some of the buffs reduce their damage. The matter of fact is, they will probably get to be fixed by the expansion comes. Probably. Knowing Blizzard, probably not. But keep that in mind. Last but not least, Destrolock goes on the very bottom. On the very top of the chain, Destrolock currently is crazy good, by the way. Crazy good Destrolock right now is absolutely nuts. Rain of Fire is so strong that people are casting Rain of Fire on a single target. Yebe Mumamo, on a single target, dude. I can't remember the last time such a boring spec actually is casting on a single target Rain of Fire. Or like AoE spender on a single target. Honestly, single target in AoE are among the, if not the best right now, completely busted. Off CDs, completely busted AoE. Like, there's nothing to say here. Good defensiveness, good utility, the best damage in the world, the best single target probably as well. You do astronomical numbers when it comes down to like mass AoE as well. So yeah, overall looking so far, Destro is to remain the king. And remember, I'm gonna say this again and again and again. These mage specs could be top tier if Oak remains meta. If Oak remains meta, then these guys will be picked up. However, as a standalone, you're probably sitting around here. As a standalone itself, you are sitting around here. But if I have to think about like a group comps in mind, then this is what I'm gonna choose. This is the chat. If I gotta choose a group comp, right here. Right here. This is my group comp. This is it, right here. Like, if I have to choose right now group comp, it's right here. Destro, Oak, Mage, Vengeance, and Holy Paladin in Resto. That's it. Now, if you choose to play Frost Mage, then you don't play Arcane. If you choose to play Holy Paladin, you don't play Resto. And that's it. Like, I think Holy Paladin and Resto Druid are gonna be very close together, and they are very close together. It would really depend on everything else. You know? And then the same thing could be for the Mage. So maybe in some cases you want to play Arcane. In some cases you want to play Frost. I believe Frost DK will probably be played everywhere. Frost Mage is going to be played everywhere instead of Arcane Mage, in my opinion. So this is right now looking to be, in my opinion, like top of the bracket. Like top of the bracket. Again, I'll repeat this. If and only if, like, there's no caster meta, then you can talk about Guardian going up here. You can talk about, you know, Shaman moving up, although Shaman is very unlikely. Like, the chances of Shaman replacing Paladin and a Druid is like, how can I say this? It's like a chances of me beating Usain Bolt in running, you know? That is the chance. It's close to 0 so far. Paladin and Druid, in my opinion, gonna be picked up instead of Shaman. But I think Shaman is still gonna be good. It's pretty good pickup. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this? Any questions? Are you guys disappointed? Are you guys disappointed in what we just talked about? You are? Okay, why are you mad? Why are you guys disappointed? Why? What is the reason? Same comp. Okay. Oh, by the way, listen. Disclaimer. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. This is purely my opinion. If you don't like it, and if you have different opinion, that is completely fine. You can do your own thing. You can have fun. Purely my opinion out of every single testing that I've done so far. You know, completely fine. Again, we are very far from the season. Month and a half before the season. Things can change, you know. So don't take serious this. Don't have it as a Bible. Don't have it as a, you know, staple. My opinion. That's all. Take it or leave it. Some melee comp possible. A melee comp. Let me see melee comp. A melee composition would be Oak, Asa, Guardian, Holy, and Frost Decay. That's a full melee comp. Augmentation has to be part of the comp. It has to be. Has to be, dude. You could drop Paladin for the Shaman because of the Wind Fury. But then again, Wind Fury only benefits the Asa Rogue and Frost Mage. And I'm not sure how much more damage do you get as an Asa Rogue. Wind Fury, anybody know? I need to watch. WordUp usually makes documents. Yeah, Master 2, true actually. That's a full melee comp. Or the alternative here is instead of Frost Decay, you could play Arms or Fury because of the 5% more damage. You could go like this. Fury does more damage, but if Arms gives 5% damage to Asa, then they could equalize, you know? Monk instead of Augmentation. Yeah, it could be the case, true actually. Like Monk instead would actually add a lot of value to the team. You know, like that. The thing is, like, chat, this thing though, I'm not sure how much a Restoration Shaman adds to the party, because this could be quite. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. It is going to be Vengeance DH, and I'm gonna explain why. Calm down. Let me explain why. Vengeance DH has received damage buffs this week. They do absolutely crazy amount of damage. However, keep in mind, if you do count Chaos Brand, if you do play with a full caster mob, in a full caster squad, you're probably gonna be top tier. You're probably gonna be top tier if you play with a full casters, etc. Because not only do insane damage, but you also give them insane damage, 5%. Durability wise on Vengeance DH is not impressive compared to Bear or Blood Decay, but the damage part carries you. The utility part on Vengeance is really good. Honestly, I can't complain there, but again, AoE fear, AoE grip effects, silence, etc., AoE stun, you know, fail eruption, etc., yada yada yada. Like, generally speaking, so far, if I have to consider completely standalone spec, like if you play with any group comp, any key level, I don't think you're top tier. I don't think so. If you were playing with a full caster squad, mage, oak, etc., then top tier, likely the case. Not because you're extremely strong, but because you do excessive amount of damage and you also sing the best. You know, you sing the best with, for example, casters. That is why I believe. Best candidates is the right choice for you. Why are you guys mad? You guys mad that Vengeance is gonna become really good? Alright, let me ask you a question, guys. Would you guys be mad if Vengeance remains meta in season 1 of Dragonflight? Of War Within? Would you guys be mad if Vengeance actually remains meta? Okay, let me ask you a question. Look. If you have to actually put yourself in this position, think about it. If casters remain meta, who is the most logical tank to go there? If casters were to be meta, who is it? Vengeance, like, think about it. Hold on. Let me give you. Let me draw for you. Watch this. Let me draw for you. Hold on. Calm down. Now let me draw for you a picture. I'm gonna try to explain as easy as possible. If Destrolock does 3 million overall damage, 5% of 3 million is how much? Let's do math. 5% of 3 million, how much is that? It's like 150 million. So 150 million from the lock. Second DPS class, let's say the mage can do, let's say 2 million. I'm like giving some random ass numbers. 2 million from mage. 5% of 5%. Oh, yo, hold on. Wait. No. Wait a second. Let's do again. Hold on. The math ain't mathing, chat. Hold on a second. 5% out of 3 million overall damage is 150k. My bad, guys. Listen, chat. Hold on. Bear with me. It's a bit too hot here. So 150k from the DH. So from the first DPS. So first DPS 150k. Second DPS, let's say, is a mage. The mage can do how much? 2 million overall, let's say. 5% out of 2 million is 100k. So 100k from there too. The third DPS is Evoker. And how much Evoker does? Evoker does like piss damage. Let's say 600k. Right? 600k of Evoker. It's still around 30k on top. 30k from here. Let's say the healer gives you like, let's say, around 20k. Altogether, if you add up, 20 plus 30 is 50. 50 plus 100 is 150. So altogether, extra 300k. If every single tank does 800k overall, you can add this one to the Vengeance DH, and they're gonna end up with 1.1 million overall damage if you are playing full caster comp. Hence why I believe if you remain with a full caster comp, then this pick might go to the top picks right here. You know, this is a fucking crazy cook. Next in line, chat, is gonna be Blood DK together with the Guardian Druid. I do believe all of those three tanks currently are top tier without any doubt. All of them can perform great depending on the key level, depending on the way you pull on your group comp. This could be all the way different opinions. But I'm going to talk about Blood DK. In my opinion, Blood DK could be one of the most puck-friendly tanks for several reasons. First of all, have very nice self-sustain. Okay, self-sustain that allows you to pretty much not be as reliant on a healer compared to most of the tanks, which can be quite helpful if you do play with a full puck, no comps, etc. Second thing, damage output is crazy good on Blood DK. This will never be an issue for you to compete with damage. Defensive part are great there. You can't complain about defensives. In durability, you're solid as fuck, you're tanky. Several sets of defensiveness if needed. Utility part pretty much unchanged. AMS now can be on two people. That's already fine. We already know that. And you have good mob control because double grip, ST stun if you're playing ST stun, binding light, and interrupt can be an issue here. I mean, can solve a lot of issues. That's about Blood DK. And Guardian, on the other hand, Guardian, I don't think they're playing Elune's Chosen now. The Moon Bear you guys think about has already been gone. I do believe right now it's the case for Claw Claw of the something something. What do you call this shit? Fuck, I already forgot it. There's so many hero talents in my head. Claw of the Druid. You guys understand what I'm talking about? The Claw shit. Claw, Druid of the Claw. Thank you. Druid of the Claw is now the go-to choice for Guardian Druids. Again, just like Blood Decay, the damage output has been astonishing. Compared to Blood Decay, Guardian can actually handle a lot bigger pools depending on if you have an in-card or not. Defensive cooldowns, again, several sets of defensiveness. Actually, Barskin is quite nutty. Short city with a huge DR. So you're the best candidate so far for the Mark of the Wild, which is actually quite important for our Mythic Plus groups, especially on high keys. So like depending on your hero choice, you might still play Guardian Druid. Because again, if you include 3% versatility, that pretty much means like 3% more damage for the whole group, right? So 3% more damage, just like Chaos Brand, right? Chaos Brand gives 5% more damage for like casters. G Druid gives 3%. However, G Druid has also CR, Combat Resurrection, which could be a massive issue if your hero does not have a Combat Resurrection, right? So yeah, something to consider, like something to think about, like something to chew on. This could go either way. Like Guardian Druid could remain here or could be top tier, depending also on a tank, on a hero choice. Depends also on the whole group, right? So if I have to be guessing right now at 100% certainty, I'm gonna choose for either Guardian or Vengeance to be here, to be part of the meta. If I consider all the buffs they're bringing to the party, it's gonna be one of them. If I have to bet, like if I'm gambling, if I'm full on gamba mode, then Guardian and Vengeance will be up there. If I'm full gamba, you know, by full gamba. But Blood Decay is also gonna be solid as fuck, and probably a lot more reliant on any other key level, just because you can self-sustain yourself, have good mob control, good damage. That's about tanks chat so far. 3% verse also tankiness for the group. Yeah, but it's not like a massive tankiness though. It's like 1.5% DR for the whole group, right? Which is not bad, to be honest with you. Yeah, if I have to choose right now, as I already said, chat, in my opinion, it's gonna be either Guardian Druid, either Guardian or Vengeance DH. One of those two. Okay, so to answer the question, the most logical question that people have asking me, play whatever you like. That is the case if you're playing casual level keys, close the stream. You can play whatever you like. Any spec can be fine on your weekly keys or casual keys. It's fine. But if you do plan to push higher keys or in general slightly above average, remember one thing: you will sit in a queue, you will rot in a queue if you don't play anything remotely good. Unless you have a team, or you have a good score, or you have a guild, you will sit and rot in a queue forever. And you're gonna end up quitting the game because of that. So remember this. Yes, fun is important. Play whatever you like, but have this on the back of your head. What is your plan? Is your plan to push high keys? Think about it, you know? Yeah, pushing your own keys can work. Of course it can work, but there will be a point where it just doesn't work anymore.